Well, we're live, everyone, a little bit late on this Monday evening. Welcome to Afterburn Soccer Show. I'm your host. You can follow me at Nathan J. Hill. They're on X. They're changing the
Yeah.
domain name, and down to X officially. And with me is our good friend Jose at El Chico Carmona. Some of these
What's up,
nights,
everybody?
yeah, some of these nights can be a little busy, so you may not catch us live, but we'll do our best. But hey, good thing is. And I wrote this today on Afterburn.soccer that it was a good weekend for FC Dallas fans. FC Dallas went, still not playing the best soccer that they're capable of, but they went down into Houston against their rival. They had one mistake in the first half, but then they found an equalizer. Maybe they should have done better. We'll hear from Nico about that in a very rough clip in just a moment. Yeah, but El Capitan stays home. They got a point on the road for a team that's been struggling. A point on the road is precious. It's a precious diamond. What
That's
did you
great.
make of the match, Jose?
It's a great result, and frankly, one of their best performances on the road. I know the bar is low, but I was satisfied that the team went for it and were pressing it. Which I was concerned going into this match that they would sit back and just absorb pressure like they normally do on the road. But I like the fact that they actually got after Houston. Not all the time, but they did pick their spots and they did press, and of course that eventually led to the tying goal. So I'm pretty happy with the result. A draw against Houston in Houston, I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think we all can just say without any hesitation. We've already been saying it, but for once, FC Dallas really did go out and get a great striker. I mean, Musa. He obviously he needs service like any striker, but you give him an opportunity, and he's in form right now. He's feeling more confident. He's going to put the ball home, and so that's a big relief for FC Dallas fans after having to, hope. Sometimes these strikers who are just not where they needed to be, uh, developmental wise, and just finally getting a guy who's in his prime. And my only fear is that he's going to score a lot more, and then somebody's going to come over this summer and offer a big profit for FC Dallas to unload him. But I hope that doesn't happen yet. Give us at least a year.
You got to be happy that he's starting to. He's pretty much mostly killed any doubters out there. I mean, let's face it. First couple of matches, we were all like, "What's going on with this guy?" But I mean, for a guy who's first year in the league and traditionally for FC Dallas anyway, new players from outside the league tend to struggle. So I mean, he seems to have shrugged it off after a run of games there, and now the guy has been on fire. He's averaging what, a goal a game or a point, a goal or assist a game for the last 5 games. That's great. I mean, I I'm optimistic about it. I like where he's headed, and frankly, I don't really care. I don't think anyone's going to take him this summer, and I like to see him become a regular third for FC Dallas and have teams worry about him. It will definitely make Nico's job a little bit easier.
Yeah. Yeah, the team overall that's still trying to get healthy. Sebastian Ledjet was back, but probably the biggest storyline for me was Nolan Norris getting the start. How did you feel about his performance, Jose?
I was, I think, better than expected. In all honesty, the kid, you he's been playing in with North Texas, and has been a bit reckless pretty much every match at some point. You know, youth and whatnot. But for a kid that was just playing in the back lines last year and transitioned to midfield only really truly this year, you got to be excited with what you saw from him. It's if he can give us minutes like that going forward, especially if injuries continue to be a theme with this team for the remainder of the season, that's great.
Hmm. Yeah, it's I wrote that today too. That I really feel like with homegrown players, and some of these young guys they have who have promise. If they can help them unlock that, FC Dallas will have one of the deeper benches to turn to, and so seeing a guy like Nolan Norris saying, "Hey, I can be helpful." Carl Sante hasn't quite been there yet, but he jumped a big jump from North Texas to senior team. But yeah, guys like Kumungo, Pondeka, Indele, get these guys going, and they just add more tools for Nico to pull out as the season progresses, and
And
and time for
and
guys to get healthy.
and let's point out that Nico's built a reputation for not playing the kids, but I mean, he's starting Norris. He's bringing in Andele to finish out the game. Saint, he's still pretty young too. He's getting minutes. We had the whole Dante Sealy playing time before Farfan. So for a guy who's got a reputation of not playing the kids, he seems to be playing them often enough.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's go ahead and hear a little bit of some of Nico's post game. I was struggling to edit this correctly, so we're just going to listen in a little bit on his reaction to the match.
We could win this game. Like I think we did probably one of the best first halves on the road this season. We just had a moment late in the first half after the water break when where we dropped a little bit our level, but overall until the first 30 minutes were I think the best that we have played away, combining a good defensive work, combining with a good possessions, good plays. Unlucky that we don't have the technology in the league because it's difficult without the technology for the VR to make a decision. For my position where I was, that it was really, really good position. Is offside. The camera angle that we have is offside. But I don't know what cameras they have, what they have. It's a pity that that a game could be decided for on that. I know the league is working on bringing that technology, but I think it makes the difference to go with a 0-0, happy about what we did in the first half, and approaching the second half.
Stop it there. Yeah. So Nico fussing about that first goal, that opening goal.
I mean, I'm not sure if I agree with what he's saying. I mean, I didn't see the video, so I can't really comment on it. But you have to admit that 6 minutes of added time at halftime is a ridiculous amount, and it took them 5 minutes to get that first goal, into extra time, and that's got to be upsetting for the FCD staff. That come on, 6 minutes, and then of course you had the 9 minutes at the at the
Yeah.
end of regulation. So I mean, you're talking they played a good extra 15 minutes of added time in and then some in this match, and I mean you can't be happy, especially since they scored so late.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's shift over to our friends at North Texas, who after that disappointing loss last week against Towns FC, were able to rebound at home and get the win over Timbers 2, a 2-1 victory. Good stuff all around. A good rebound, a good effort. A return to some form for North Texas, despite giving up another early goal. But they rebounded as a team, and I really like how Pedrinho is coming on as a young talent who, hey, maybe has something long term for FC Dallas to develop. So I don't know if you got to watch that match or
I didn't really get a chance to watch it. In all honesty, I tried to, but life. But
it was
still,
just about the same time as Houston now. So I only got to watch snippets. It's just it was
yeah, exactly. And I did try, but like you said, it was just the time was bad for it. But Pedrinho is a player that has trained with the senior team, and we'd be seeing more of him if he wasn't for, I believe he had some knocks on him that cost him some playing time. So I'm glad that he's healthy and performing. There's a lot of young talent in North Texas, man, and I'm glad to see them Gal getting the best out of them because even though there's no players that are going to be immediate, uh, well, I can't say that because Saint, Andele, and Norris were getting regular minutes with them and ended up getting key minutes this past weekend. So if we can continue getting minutes like that from players playing with North Texas, then this year's looking pretty good considering how banged up the senior team is.
Yeah. Let me see. So I have some audio, but I'm gonna have to see if I can find it here. I'm not sure where it's downloading. Oh, I see. Let's see if this works. Well, all right. I'm not sure where the thing is. So let me see if I can. All right. I
But
think I
anyway,
got.
I just also want to add that I'm very happy that North Texas came home and continued playing great at home, which is uh, I don't get disappointed when they lose, drop points on the road, but at home you need to make home a fortress, and I'm glad to see them succeeding at home again.
Well, here I have some audio from John Gall after the match. I asked him, and I wasn't able to jump on the call, so I forwarded him to their media guy and one about how the team rebounded, and then I asked him really about what it means to North Texas when Nolan Norris gets a start against Houston. Here's let's see if this works. Well,
Hey, John. So, how do you feel the team responded after the loss last week?
Really well. We talked about starting the game on a positive note and pushing the opponent, and we certainly did that. We got a nice early goal, and then obviously the second goal from Pedrinho from a really good team press. You go in at 2-0 at half time, and it's a little bit of a difficult scoreline in football because you kind of feel you've got the game in hand, but the opponent knows that the next goal can really change the game. And unfortunately, we gave a goal away on a set piece, which we're all disappointed with. We kind of know that that's something that we need to continue to work on because we kind of feel we're allowing teams to get back into the game when we're at that point in the game where we can really stretch out and get a third goal and a fourth goal and really let the game run away from the opponent. But something we'll continue to work on. I think last year we were giving goals up on set pieces that were ultimately costing us points. Fortunately, this year we're far enough ahead in some games that sometimes when we give these goals up, it doesn't become too costly. And again, today was about getting out of the loss column to getting back in the win column. We've put ourselves tonight on the top of the Western Conference. Obviously, there's some games in hand from other teams tomorrow, but we'll enjoy being top of the conference for at least for a day, and we'll try and get back there as quickly as we can if we're not there tomorrow.
Alrighty, and then lastly, what does it mean to have a player like Nolan Norris getting minutes with North Texas and getting called up and having his first start with FC Dallas this season?
It's what we're all about. I mean, we talk to the players all the time. You never know when you're going to be called up. You never know when it's your turn, and we just want to make sure that these guys are ready. They compete for us. They play for us. They're playing at a very, very high level. The first team coaching staff noticed that, and then they're fortunate to get the call up, and it's very well deserved. We're super proud of Nolan. We're super happy that he's been part of our group, and hopefully, he continues to get as many minutes as he possibly can with the first team. And if he doesn't continue to get too many minutes with them, he'll come back with us and continue to get really, really important minutes with us because he's a big part of this group. He's a big part of the team. He's a big part of the club, and we are certainly super happy for him to get his minutes tonight with the first team.
Thank you.
yeah, good stuff. I like Coach Gall's intensity, and what he's demanding out of this team. But yeah, I think for young guy to get minutes with North Texas and then get that call up, get that first start of 2024. Huge message to those other guys like Pondeka, like Isaiah Parker, who are trying to build something of a stepping stone out of their time with North Texas. But I think every year I want to see this more and more with FC Dallas as an organization where they're like, hey, young guys, you play well, you're going to get opportunities. You're going to get noticed because that makes the whole franchise, the whole front office, the whole organization more attractive to young players that want
Uh,
to do something special.
it makes his job easier for him to preach to them that if you continue playing well, and we're gonna make it so that you are ready when you do get that call. call up, and then to have FC Dallas call up 3 guys and give them minutes this past week, it just, if you're Gall, you're excited because you're like, see, there's your proof, I'm not just preaching here. I'm telling you what's going to happen, and you're seeing it in action. And just a team that right now is in really great form in North Texas. They got to be excited. Because we all know the state that FC Dallas finds itself in, and there's gonna be minutes, maybe not starting minutes like Norris got this week, but certainly off the bench for any player that finds himself in great form for North Texas. And don't forget, we got the midweek match. I'm curious to see if those 3 guys will get significant minutes in that match also.
Yeah, that's right. So FC Dallas will be traveling down to Tampa to play Tampa Bay. This is not going to be a gimme match. I imagine Nico would probably like a script not much different than what we did last time. Find 1 goal, clamp down, go home, right?
Yeah, I mean, and they're coming in off a 5-0 win this past weekend. They've been a high scoring team. I believe they've scored more than 4 goals in at least three of their last 5 or 6 matches. But they've also allowed a lot of goals on 2 occasions, 3 occasions actually. So this could be a very entertaining match because Tampa Bay can put up goals, but their defense isn't necessarily staunch enough to prevent goals. I, we could be in for an exciting match. I of course, Nico, how he's gonna play. He's gonna play like Tampa is the number one team in the Western Conference in MLS, and we'll get annoyed. But it's about getting the W and coming out of there without any injuries and getting certain players in form or getting younger players minutes. So I, I think I think Nico will take this match seriously. He'll start the best lineup he can, considering we've got a game on the weekend. And I myself am happy that they're taking. I mean, at least if the Memphis match is an indication going forward, I'm happy to see FC Dallas take this tournament seriously. Where in past years they say they're going to take it seriously, and then their lineups say otherwise. This year, the lineup against Memphis indicates they are taking it seriously, and I'm hoping they continue that against Tampa.
Yeah. It's always a tricky one. They'll be at Tampa, so that already sets them in a challenge for any team and a team that's been in good form. But Dallas luckily has started to look better too. But yeah, those injury issues, juggling this roster will be a big storyline to watch as Nico makes choices. Maybe Nolan Norris, he did well enough that he gets another start, and you give time for Azier Ilaramendi to get healthier. I don't know if they're going to be available yet. Liam Frazier. So you're missing some really key guys. So I don't think, as important as the Open Cup is, I don't know that you risk running a guy out
Well,
when
I
you
don't
give
think
him a little more.
Ilara would see minutes in this, but I do expect Jesus to get some minutes, maybe not a start, but I expect some of the big guns to at least be on the bench if they don't start. Uh, and you saw some of the early subs, were around the 50th minute. I think that's an indication that you'll see some of those guys getting minutes in this match. Otherwise, like
Yeah.
uh, like Tomasi, I think he might get a start in this match. And I'd be fine if Enderle gets a start anyway, because I like to see more of him. Of course, I think we all do. But no, I mean, I think this is a beatable team. Obviously, FC Dallas should be the favorite, even though they're on the road. And if they uh, field a solid MLS level lineup, I think they should be able to beat Tampa, a team that, by the way, recently lost to Memphis 4-1.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I would love to see a guy like Bernie Kamungo, get something cooking, get some confidence, get a goal. I love that's what I'd love to see out of these Open Cup matches. But I love too that FC Dallas is competing in it and are trying to go for it because it is a year where, based on circumstances, they have an easier path than maybe other years. So take advantage of that. Hardware is hardware. Bring it
Yeah,
home.
I mean, and this year because of the whole politics of the thing with MLS doing what they're doing, the road to the finals isn't as tough as it's been in the past. I'm sorry, it's at this time in any previous competition we'd be traveling to Sporting Kansas City
Yeah.
or Minnesota or someplace like that, which is what we generally end up having to do, and then it's very tough, at least in the U.S. Open Cup, to beat those guys when you're not gonna take the tournament seriously. Well, that's not the case here. Here you got a chance to take another USL championship team and potentially be facing another USL championship in the next round if you get past this one. So it's not by historical standards not the toughest road they've ever faced. So there's potential for this team to make it far in this tournament if they continue to take it seriously.
Good stuff. Well, in broader news that's related somewhat to Texas, Austin just put one of their designated players on waivers. Talk
Wow.
about an interesting decision.
I
I don't. Is
don't
any
think I've
team
ever
looking?
heard. No, I don't think I've ever heard anything like that. I don't know what they're trying to achieve here. I mean, it's
Who's going to pick
comical,
him
really.
up? I don't. I mean, I know there's some teams that have some open DP slots, but I'm not sure Rigioni is going to be the answer. Of
Let me
course,
take
how cool would it be for Dallas to like find space, bring him in, and then the guy starts
No,
dominating?
I mean that's a guy that you say, hey, we'll take him out of your hands if you pay for his wages for the rest of the year. Any team was going to say that. Otherwise, no one's coming close to that guy.
Yeah. Wow. It's interesting, and really, I give good credit to Austin. They're playing really well. I mean, they started the season poorly, but they have been a much more competitive team, and so credit to them. Their coach has stamped down rumors,
I
just
don't
like
want to
our
hear it.
coach is kind of stamping down the hot
I
seat.
don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I hope they regress.
Okay. Well, they might. They might. I mean, but interesting times in Major League Soccer, all over the place, and uh, United States men's national team also had the latest camp announced. No, only from what I saw, wait, two players from MLS. No, three.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
Sean Johnson, um, Miles Robinson, and Shaq
And
Moore of all people.
and of course, USMNT Twitter is losing their mind over it as usual.
Yeah,
But it's not like these guys are going to be getting starting minutes. And as far as the third goalkeeper, it's like who cares? It's the third goalkeeper.
you want a
They,
veteran.
they,
You just want a guy who's
yeah,
been around the block.
exactly. And then what's it? Shaq Moore. He's only there as an emergency because of the stupidity of Dest. I mean, let's face it. Dest was stupid. Something that everyone forgets. Everyone's praising the guy. You know, he, he's the reason Shaq Moore is on the roster. All right, simple as that. But I think also he had the injury, so I don't want to be too rough on the guy. But you still had that red card, so it's still his fault, injury or not.
Yeah,
And it's also a sign of how thin the U.S. is at that position. That that Berhalter is openly talking about which midfielders can play at that position. And let's face it, some of the younger options they're going to be in the Olympics. Reynolds, and some of the other options that you might have brought, you're not going to bring them to this because you want them preparing for the Olympics. You want them
yeah,
available for Olympics, not this. So yeah, it's three. They're people that are gonna get in as an emergency only. That's fine with me. I mean, it's
yeah.
it's it's
And
it's a
guys
serious.
who, yeah, have been. Shaq Moore has been called up before. He's gotten some minutes. You're not calling in somebody who um,
Exactly,
doesn't have
exactly,
any knowledge at all. But yeah, it's just it's yeah. And if that's who they're complaining about, your backup.
Exactly,
It's like,
exactly. These are emergency players at best. They're not going to be stealing minutes from anybody. And I believe this is an expanded roster. So I think it's by four or three or four players. So basically, your expanded slots went to MLS guys. All the rest of the guys are from Europe. So, like I said, I'm staying away from X because those USMNT guys are nuts, and honestly, they're annoying.
yeah.
It's
Well,
a strong roster. I'm very happy with it.
let's shift back as we shut down the show. We started a little bit late, but we've got our almost 30 minutes in here. So again, Dallas goes and plays Tampa Bay Rowdies on Wednesday. It's I think a kind of early evening match. For the West Coast folks like me, it's late afternoon. So that'll be a fun one to watch. And then they turn around. They are back at home to play welcome Real Salt Lake, who are very good this year. A really
They
dangerous team.
top of the West, and I was watching their match against the Rapids. The Rapids were up 2-0, and they were actually up 3-2, 3-2 with a little over 10 minutes left in the match. Colorado subbed in some defensive players to try to close the show, and ended up losing 5-3 as
Mm.
RSL scored 3 goals in a little over 10 minutes. And I will say that RSL looked really fast. I was surprised at how fast they looked across the board. And, all their attackers looked very quick, very fast, faster than Colorado anyway. Well, I think Colorado more size than speed, but that speed, especially if Dallas is a little tired against Tampa, uh, that's gonna give us headaches. It's gonna be a tough match for FCD for sure.
But also an opportunity for this team to keep putting the pieces together and maybe say, hey, we're better. We're better than people think we are. So it'll be that
For
kind of measuring
for
stick.
for the fans to start believing that they have to get results against a team like RSL, the top teams in the West. Right now, I think Nico has done enough to at least, you know, calm the Nico out crowd. They're still there. They're just not as loud as they were earlier. And getting a point against RSL, that goes a long way towards keeping that way. Preferably with 3 points, but it's a top team, and with Dallas basically having a midweek game, I think a point is the best we can hope for out of that match.
All right. All right. Well, hopefully they'll do better. They'll surprise us all. We'll have to watch again that storyline of how is Nico going to juggle the lineup, get some guys rest, keep getting guys healthy on Wednesday, but still find a result. If he
Yeah,
can do that,
the attack is showing flashes, and it's just a matter of you're starting to see the potential there. It's just potential right now, but you're seeing uh, Musa is the real deal. You're seeing Jesus starting to get back into form. You're seeing Kamungo flashing a little bit of his. Uh, I like to say he creates chaos when he gets in the back. I don't think he's a playmaker like we want him to be. I think he's a chaos maker, and that's can be good when you get into dangerous positions. And so we're starting to see flashes of the attack, and now we just need to see it with consistency before we start getting excited.
awesome. Well, Jose, thanks for coming on. Sorry about the delay,
Thanks for having
everybody.
me.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll of course post the audio tomorrow, and you can subscribe for free at afterburn.soccer. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.